So welcome back again, and in this video I'm going to go over and review in a very simple way, but I hope that it gives you a good idea about, I'm going to review Habitat. So what's Habitat? So basically Habitat is a framework that has basically two things. One, a simulator that allows you to have very realistic looking simulations, just because they are point cloud type of 3D models, so very high detail, really high, and it's based on, it's a very good idea, which is I want to train my agents for AI in very realistic environments. So that's basically Habitat. And it has also another part, which is AI baselines, so reinforcement learning and this kind of stuff. So I've gone over the documentation on how to install it. So you have essentially two parts. You have the Habitat API, and then you have the Habitat Sim. And these two parts work together to give you a very good environment for AI training. And as far as the installation goes, it's quite, it doesn't work as the instructions say, or at least the Docker, the official Docker, it's not updated. So you have to download, but compilation, it's really heavy. And you have to compile in a system that has at least around 120 gigabytes of memory, of physical memory, and around 32, more than 32 RAM. I said because I tried to compile it in my computer here and it was impossible, and I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, so you'll need at least 64 RAM. What I did was I created my own Docker image based in a remote server with 64 gigabytes of RAM. I compiled it there, and then I uploaded to my Docker hub the Docker image. So the Docker image that I have here is the one that I generated in a remote server, and then I downloaded it to my local computer. So I'm here inside it, and I've downloaded some models and so I'm going to show you a few examples of what I've seen in the documentation and that works. So the first one is, one of the first things you have to do is activate the Habitat environment for Conda. So I have it already activated here, as you see. But you execute this command, and then the name of the Conda environment, which the default in the Docker that they give is Habitat. I generated a new one for the new updated Gits, because these Gits, so let me show you. So these two Gits, the Habitat API and the Habitat Sim, weren't updated in the official Docker image. So I had to remove them, download them again, following the instructions that they give you using the stable one, but you can also download the master branch, let's say the bleeding edge. I followed these instructions because I thought that it would give less problems using the stable branch. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look how this works. So if you go to Habitat Sim, There you go. Here we can launch the builder. So for the builder, you have to compile, otherwise by default you don't have it. So you'll have to compile the repository. And let's have a look. So this is using a database that you can download for free. They recommend here to use other databases, datasets, sorry. The only problem is that the Gibson and the Matterport 3D, you have to send a form and then ask basically permission to be able to download it. So I just didn't have the time, and I don't see the point unless you want to use that database. So as you can see here, you have a 3D environment, so I can move around with my keyboard, and the level of detail is really high. But you can see that it's a point cloud kind of 3D model. So if you get very close to the elements, they start to get a bit strange, like the table there, for example, has a big hole there. But it's really, really good for AI learning, at least for navigation and object recognition also. Very complex. Yeah, this one is the first example. So the next one we can also have physics in it. So I'll start it in a new environment, which this one I prefer it. It's really nice. It's Van Gogh room in 3 dimensions, really nice there. And you can spawn objects, random objects, into the scene, like bananas and stuff. There you go. You can change also the gravity, and yeah, more or less you can move things around like that. The last element that you spawned, by pressing K, it moves around. It's a nice place, and it's very good for maybe for manipulation, maybe for object recognition, and giving some variety to the scene. Yeah, there you go. And that's it. You can also run the examples. So let's run this one, for example. And this one, it doesn't appear to do anything, but it's executing the movement around. There you go. Perfect. And now let's go to the API. So this is the most important part, or the other important part, because it gives you the ability to use these very complex environments for AI learning, for reinforcement learning, deep learning, and so on. So I'll launch this example, which what it does is start a training. There you go. And for changing variables and data, you can go here to the PPO example YAML, and there you'll be able. This file is not in the stable version, so you'll have to copy it from the master branch and then put it there. And here we are going to have a look at the Tensor board. There you go. So this is the prior, so the one that I did that we'll see afterwards. Let me just cancel this and clean it so you can see that I'm not messing around here. There you go. Now let's launch it again. And let's launch Tensor board again. There you go. So we have to wait until it generates the learning data. And there you go, our first data here. So you can see that it's learning quite badly. So, but yeah, more or less the loss is getting smaller, more or less. And the reward, it's negative, so not very good. But there you go. So we have the training. I won't stay here much. And then we can now execute the test, which evaluates the model that we've done, which is, it's a very bad model. This is the data that we did before. There you go. So now we have the images of this evaluation of the training in these environments that we have. In this case, episode 31 was done here in the palace, let's say. And yeah, you can see these videos are generated inside this folder. The video there, so you can have a look. And yeah, so more or less that's it. So what's my opinion and my thought on this? Well, as the previous video, this also is very promising. It can help you a lot in your AI learning and has a lot of features that I haven't talked about. If you're interested on that I do a video explaining more about this, leave it in the comments below, because there's a lot to be said here. So we have the baselines, we have also integration with PyRobot, which is basically a layer on top of ROS. So we could do integration with PyRobot. We could use, we could get the information of these environments and publish them in ROS. Instead of using Gazebo, we could use this one. So it's really, really interesting. So if you're interested and you like the video, thumbs up and leave a comment if you want me to do more videos on this topic or other topics that you're interested in, and review other packages and software about robotics. So that's it, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.